The call came through the radio just like any other, except this time. The trespasser they were talking about was me. "We have a squatter refusing to leave private HOA property," the dispatcher said. I glanced at the screen, and my stomach twisted. The location was my ranch lake, my own land. I was sitting 10 feet from that dispatch console, listening live to a false 911 report being made by the same HOA president who'd been trying to steal my property for months. And the best part? She had no clue that her call went straight to my office. "My name's Luke Danner. I'm 51, born and raised on Danner Ranch, 600 acres of Montana dirt and sweat that's been in my family since before color television. My granddad dug the irrigation lines with a shovel. My dad stocked our lake with trout and built the dock where I learned to swim when I was 4. I live here with my wife, Marla, a school librarian, and my 90-year-old father, a Korean war vet who still fishes every morning at sunrise. It's quiet, simple, the kind of life that smells like pine resin and diesel, at least. It used to be. 5 years ago, a developer bought the land east of me and turned it into Silver Creek Estates, a fancy HOA subdivision full of glass houses and Tesla owners. Their back porches face my lake. They can see it glimmer through the trees, but can't set foot on it, because it's on my deed. Always has been. Most of the new neighbors were polite at first. They asked to fish. I showed them the maps. They thanked me and left. But then came Cassandra Vale, the new HOA president, 60 going on 16, always dressed like she was on a corporate retreat. She'd say things like, "For the community's collective good," with that smug smile people get when they believe rules exist only for others. 2 weeks after she took office, I got a letter so thick it could have stopped a bullet. She claimed an ancient county map showed a public trail crossing my property to the lake. Demanded I allow HOA members seasonal dock access or face legal action. I hired a surveyor and an attorney. Cost me over $3,000 just to prove what every local already knew. No easement existed. Never had. When I sent her the paperwork, she didn't apologize. She just changed tactics. Next came a second letter, shorter, nastier, accusing me of fence encroachment onto HOA land. That's when I stopped laughing. A week later, I heard voices outside my barn and walked out to see Cassandra leading a group of people, surveyors, HOA board members, cameras, the whole circus, marching 200 yards onto my property like they owned it. "This is private land," I told her, calm but firm. She tilted her head, wearing a grin that could curdle milk. "We're verifying disputed boundaries. Luke, perfectly within our rights." "You're trespassing," I said. "Leave now, or I'll call the sheriff." She held up her phone, already recording. "Go ahead," she said sweetly. "We are documenting your harassment." I didn't take the bait. I took photos, faces, car plates, timestamps. Then I turned around, walked back into the barn, and let my lawyer handle it. By nightfall, she'd received a cease and desist order and a formal complaint filed with the state board. Within a week, her hired surveyor disavowed everything, claiming Cassandra misled him. He threw her under the bus so hard, she left tire tracks. You'd think that would end it. But HOA Karens don't back down. They escalate. She flooded the neighborhood Facebook page with lies. Said I'd threatened her. Said I was unstable. Even claimed I abused my position as volunteer fire chief. My wife saw the post at work and came home pale, shaking. "Luke," she whispered, "people are calling you dangerous." I told her not to worry. "Paper trails don't lie," I said. But that night, I sat on the dock with my old man, and he muttered, "Son, Some folks got more venom than sense. He was right, and venom spreads fast. A week later, I found the gate to my back pasture padlocked shut. Big industrial chain. Brand new. That gate's on a county road easement. Fully legal. The only route to my cattle pens. I keep bolt cutters in my truck for just such stupidity. Snipped the chain. Went about my chores. Thought that was the end of it. The next morning, new lock. So I checked the trail camera I'd mounted on the fence after her first stunt. There she was at 6:15 a.m., Tesla parked on the shoulder, muttering to herself. Let's see him try to get through now. I handed that footage to the sheriff. Wade Merritt, a man I've known since high school. He watched it stone-faced, then said, "That's criminal mischief. Want me to haul her in?" "Not yet," I said. "I want her pattern on record first." So we documented everything. Letters, trespassing, video proof. I even filed incident reports myself to keep it clean. But Cassandra didn't stop. Instead, she launched a full-blown harassment campaign using county agencies. 3 separate inspections hit me in 1 week. Health, environmental, and zoning. All from anonymous complaints. Everyone came back clean. But I lost 3 days of ranch work. I filed for public copies. Every email came from silvercreekhoa.org. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about the lake anymore. It was about control, about breaking me. And for the first time, I started doubting myself. Maybe I was too stubborn. Maybe if I just gave them walking access. All this would stop. Marla was exhausted. Dad was embarrassed to go into town. I remember sitting in the truck one night, staring at my own reflection in the windshield, whispering, "What if they win? What if I lose everything over pride?" But then I looked toward the lake, moonlight on the water I'd fished since childhood, and something inside me hardened. "No," I said aloud, "this is family. This is legacy. They don't get to take it." 2 weeks later, I was in my office at the fire station when the 911 call came in. Trespasser at Silver Creek Lake, possibly armed. The dispatcher, a friend named Karen, not that kind of Karen, asked for location details. And then I heard it. That voice. Cassandra Vale. Clear as day. "It's HOA common property," she snapped. "He's hostile. Send deputies immediately." Karen typed the coordinates, frowned. "Ma'am, our records show that property belongs to a private landowner, a Mr. Luke Danner." There was silence. Then Cassandra stammered, "Well, there's a dispute about ownership. Just send someone." I was sitting 10 feet away, listening live. I leaned back, arms crossed, blood cold. "That's my lake," I said quietly. Karen turned to me, eyes wide. "Luke, that's her." Sheriff Wade radioed in seconds later. "Dispatch, this call's unfounded. False report. I'll document." That night, I couldn't sleep. Her voice kept echoing in my head. Bold, confident, lying through her teeth. I brewed a pot of coffee, pulled every HOA document I'd collected, and started digging. By 3 a.m., I found it, the smoking gun. The HOA covenants promised exclusive resident access to Silver Creek Lake. But that lake was never theirs. The developer who built the subdivision had written it into the sales pitch anyway, sold million-dollar homes on a lie. Cassandra wasn't just power-hungry. She was covering for fraud. If the homeowners found out, they'd sue the HOA into dust. So she needed to fake a history of public use to claim my lake through adverse possession. Every trespass, every photo, every fake inspection, she was building a false timeline to prove access. And the 911 call? That was her crown jewel. Evidence that she defended their land from me, the supposed squatter. I sat back, laughing bitterly. She's not trying to win. She's trying to rewrite reality. The next morning, I met Wade at the diner in town, showed him everything. He whistled low. She's cooked her own goose. That 911 call alone's a misdemeanor. But this? He tapped the file. This is a career ender. Then I met with my attorney, Greta Hollis. Sharp as a cattle prod and twice as effective. She drafted a 3-part plan. Sue the HOA for harassment and trespass. File a bar complaint against their lawyer. And send a formal notice to the developer exposing the fraudulent sales claims. We were ready for battle. But before we could act, Cassandra made her biggest mistake. One frosty morning, I noticed my cattle acting strange, lethargic, drooling, staggering near the trough. I called the vet, who tested the water and came back pale. "Luke, it's ethylene glycol," he said. "Antifreeze. Someone dumped it in your spring." I checked the hidden camera near the culvert. At 2:14 a.m., a white Tesla pulled up. A figure with a headlamp stepped out, carrying a jug, poured it straight into my water line. The light hit her face just long enough. Cassandra Vale. I handed the footage to Wade. He clenched his jaw. Poisoning livestock's a felony. Up to 10 years in prison. "Don't arrest her yet," I said. "Let her walk into the meeting tomorrow, in front of everyone." The next day was the scheduled mediation between me and the HOA, the county commissioner, a few board members, my lawyer, and Wade, all in one room. Cassandra showed up pale but defiant, dragging her briefcase like it was armor. When the meeting started, Greta let me take the floor. I connected my laptop to the projector and said, "Let's skip the pleasantries. First clip, Cassandra trespassing with her survey crew. Second, her locking my gate. Third, the 911. Her voice clear as daylight. Then the emails, the false complaints. Finally, the Tesla footage, her pouring poison into my trough. No one moved. The room was dead quiet, except for the sound of her breathing, fast through her nose. I turned to her and said, "You didn't want lake access. You wanted to rewrite history and bury the truth. You tried to steal my land, ruin my name, and poison my cattle. You forgot one thing, Cassandra. Every lie leaves a trail." She started shaking her head. "You can't prove—" Wade stepped forward. "Ms. Vale, you're under arrest for livestock poisoning and filing a false police report." The handcuffs clicked, loud and final. 2 board members resigned on the spot. The others apologized, promising to cover my legal fees and remove her immediately. The developer, after receiving Greta's letter, issued a public statement admitting the lake was never part of their subdivision. The whole HOA collapsed within weeks. I didn't celebrate, didn't gloat. I just went home, poured black coffee into my tin mug, and walked out to the lake. The water was calm again. No lawyers, no sirens, no poison. Just the sound of the wind through the pines and the soft creak of the dock my grandfather built. For months, I'd felt powerless. But that day, I understood something simple. You don't fight liars with rage. You fight them with evidence. Cassandra thought she could rewrite the law with confidence and paperwork. She forgot that truth doesn't need permission. So I stood there at the edge of the lake, breathing the cold morning air, and smiled, not because I'd won, but because she'd finally run out of lies to hide behind. And that's the thing about power. When it's built on deception, all it takes is the truth to bring it crashing down.